So why ditching the grid? Well, partly out of necessity. This block doesn't have power running past it, and to get power run from down the road 200 metres up to the front of our block, I got a rough quote of around $130,000, and then from there we would have to pole from the front of our block 500 metres up to where we want the house. That's just no, maybe not 500, maybe 350. Yeah, 350 up to the house. That's a little bit more than I want to pay. For about a quarter to a third of the cost of that, I can put in a solar system, with dual redundancies, and enough power to support the two of us, plus any guests we may have. And that's running, washing machines and dishwashers and televisions and computers, because we both work from home. Lights at night. We're not going to, well, we're going to do some electrical heating. We're going to do electrical underfloor heating in the bathroom and the master bedroom. But that's the only electrical heating we're doing. Everything else is either going, like cooking is going to be gas, LPG, and heating the house is going to be wood fire. I mean, we've got that much wood laying around here at the moment that needs to be chopped up. It's not funny. Actually, a lot of it has been laying here too long, and it's rotted down, so it needs to be burnt off. But there's so much timber on this property that we aren't going to need to worry about wood heating for the next 20 or 30 years. The other thing that we're ditching the grid for is water. There's no water, town water or sewerage that runs past here. We are literally off grid, 100% off grid. So we're going to run water tanks. We're going to run a water tank off our equipment shed. We're going to run 2 water tanks off the house and 2 water tanks off the barn, for a total of around about 125 to 130,000 litres. Now, nearly half of that will be firefighting reserve. So what will happen is there'll be 2 tanks side by side. One, the water will run into, when it fills up, it will overflow into the second tank. So the first tank acts like a cistern or a settling tank, and then settled water, or not clear water, it's not clear at this stage, will overflow into the other tank, and then that's where we'll take our water from. The full tank stays full, and it'll have a firefighting nozzle on it so that fire tankers can pull up to it if they need to, and fill their tanks, and then go off and fight fires. So we're going to have to be self-sufficient on water. We're going to have a septic system in. Now, I'm still tossing up what sort of septic system we go for. Do we go for a worm composting system? Great, because at the end you've got a product that can go back onto your garden, but they are hellish expensive. Do we go for one of those, I can't remember, EnviroFlow or EcoFlow or whatever they're called, where it actually, sort of rouses the effluent once a day or twice a day or whatever it is, and it creates an aerobic environment that breaks it down, and you end up with nearly pure water at the end, and it just needs to be pumped out a couple of times, once a year I think it is. Or do we go for a traditional septic system with a leach field, where you've got the baffle in the middle that separates liquid products, and those liquid products can then leach out into your soil, and then they're evaporated away, and then the rest of the solid waste breaks down and gets pumped out once a year again. So there's a couple of decisions to make there. We're not 100% sure which way we're going to go yet. And one of the things we're going to do is consult one of the local plumbers, get him out here to have a look and say, this is where we're going to put the house. This is where we think we're going to put the septic, leach field. What do you think? And get his advice. Always good to get experts' advice, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So other things that we're going to do for water security, we're going to extend the front dam. At the moment, there's this big bowl behind the front dam, and I don't know why they didn't use it as part of the dam. Would have been, you know, a lovely big dam then. At the moment, it's about a 1/4 acre, maybe not quite a 1/4 acre, but when we extend it, it'd be 3/4 of an acre. So a lot of water, and the idea with that is to attract the bird life in, get some of these migratory birds, get some of the local parrots. I can see finches flying through the grass over the back here. Get them, attract them in, and start to provide a habitat zone for them. Up the back, we're going to put swales. So swales are raised mounds designed to capture water, to slow it down as it goes down a hill, so it doesn't take any, it cuts down on your erosion. But it also holds some water there, so that once the rain's finished, for the next week or two, that water's leaching back out into the soil and feeding your grasses. Bores, we did ask when we first looked at the property about putting bores down, and the guy that was showing us around said, oh, you know, nobody really has bores around here. One thing I have noticed in town is that a lot of places in town have wells. The difference between a bore and a well, as far as I know, is just the size. So yeah, maybe putting a bore down might be a good idea, just as like sort of emergency water supply. So if we do end up with fires, we can start pumping water into tanks so that you know, firefighting units can come out, fill up, and keep going, and that can just be replenished. If we hit drought, we may need to use bore water, you know, if we can find a bore. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons we would want a bore,